to the vlog, guys. It's raining again. Oh, well done if you've survived the weather this week, because it's been rotten. It's been really sort of manky British weather, wet, windy. Though it's not windy today, which is a bonus, you know, just wet and grey. Look at it, so grey. Though today it goes from being quite bright and you're like, oh, that's the end of the rain, to suddenly being really grey again, and you're like, oh no, it's back again. I think it's going to do this all day again. It is so wet everywhere. It is so wet. I feel like spring is drifting away. It's going in the wrong direction. I actually think this is the tougher time of year than even in the middle of winter, because you kind of get on the edge. Like, you get into February and, well, we're like nearly, well, what have we got? Just like a week, just over a week left of February. And you're like, oh my God, March needs to be springtime. Like, surely it's going to be warmer, it's going to be dry, we can turn the horses out. But the reality is actually, March is a pretty wet month. April's a pretty wet month, sorry to say this, guys. And it's quite depressing. You're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Spring's actually just really wet. So I'm like, gotta keep smiling, we'll get through it. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, you never know. It might decide to do an early spring. I'm not quite there yet, so I'm being a little bit greedy, expecting it so soon. But yeah, it'd just be nice. If it could come by the beginning of March, that'd be good. That'd be good. Soggy pony. And just so much water everywhere. Turned out the weathermen lied. They said it wasn't going to rain this afternoon. Blimmin' peeing it down. I try not to be a fair weather rider, but I don't want to ride in this. The tack's just going to get very wet. I cleaned it on the weekend. Oh dear. I'm going to give it like another half an hour and hope it clears. I've just come back from checking out a job that I'm going to do for next week while people are away. So that's all sorted. So I've just realised I forgot to ask where their wheelbarrow was, but anyway, I can text them later. I need to ride Newbie, and then I need to lunge Sienna, and he's going to clear the arena and get rid of that jump. But I just wanted to stop raining. It's just not fun in this weather. So this is our Newbie. Only for a few days. He is so cool and so chilled that Madam over there hasn't kicked up a fuss, because he shows her no interest whatsoever, do you? It's very quiet, very calm, not the biggest foodie, so I sort of feel like I'm constantly like, are you eating enough? Are you eating enough? He's sharing the turnout pen with Coop, so at night he's in the turnout pen, and then in the daytime Coop's in the turnout pen, because he's used to being out a lot, so we're mixing it up, aren't we? We need to ride you though, and this weather's no good. He's so quiet, and so he's like, you know how Sienna's so like over the top, wants to be your best friend, wants to be in your face. He's like Corporal, like, yeah, all right, don't need to chat too much. Anyway, just thought I'd come out and check you guys have got enough food. Hey, Trouble, you were very naughty today, weren't you? She had a bit of a, God, she's so close, we don't need to have me this close. Bit of a diva strop this morning. So it was doing this morning, and while I was mucking out Chocky's stable, she was just digging and just being a real diva. And she turned all her bed up and literally dumped everything in the middle. So all the bedding and the muck was all mixed in together, and I was not best pleased. Anyway, she wouldn't stop digging, and I thought, you don't want to stand out in the rain. It was because she wasn't done first. Anyway, in the end, I tied her up out in the rain, and it was belting it down. She just stood out in the yard, like, with her ears flat back, like, not what she wanted. But you just wouldn't give up, would you? No. You can't always be done first. It's just the way life goes sometimes. Anyway, I really need to give her a good lunch today. She could do with getting rid of some energy, give you a good canter. And I also need to hand graze everyone, but I don't want to be stood out there in this weather. So come on, rain, time to go. We've had enough. We don't need any more. So that's really bad. I came in here to say something to you guys. I thought, while I'm taking my coat off and my boots off, I'll talk to you guys about this. I've forgotten what it was. The distraction of just taking my coat off and boots has meant that whatever I was going to say has just gone from my head. Got no clue what it is. Good morning, guys. It's Friday. Oh, I'm so happy it's Friday. I'm ready for it to be Friday. I've got things on the weekend, but nothing too crazy. And I just want a little extra half an hour in bed. That's all I want. Question for you guys. What time do you go to bed? Because, you know, this year I've been really trying to, you know, change some habits of mine, improve myself, feel more confident, feel more disciplined, feel like I'm getting everything out of my life. And there's definitely some areas that I've improved on. I'm definitely exercising more, and I've managed to keep that going for longer than a month, which is quite impressive for me. Like, genuinely, that's like amazing for me. Man, we're up to like doing exercise 3 times a week. So I've been doing a bit of running, a bit of skipping, bit of don't laugh at me, bit of dancing. You know, finding on YouTube there's a few like Zumba type classes, and that works for me. I'm quite up for that. I like a little boogie around the lounge, and so that's been working well. I've still been journaling, and I'm loving that. But there is one habit that I cannot figure out, improve, whatever the word might be, and that is waking up in the morning earlier. So I would like to start my day a bit earlier. It would be helpful. But I wake up and I just feel absolutely zonked every morning. Like, I feel so tired. What time do you guys go to bed? I might listen a trick here. Is most of the population going to bed at like 8:30? So I tend to get into bed at like 10 o'clock, and I do like to read for half an hour. I try to, you know, not go over the half an hour line, but sometimes I get a bit carried away in a book. But I think, generally speaking, I probably fall asleep about 11 o'clock. I'm not sure that's obviously enough sleep for me, but I feel like there's so much to do in an evening. I can't go to bed earlier. What do you do? Like, does anyone ever wake up feeling super refreshed and like, you know how like people are in the movies when they wake up and they're like, oh, it's a new day and I'm so excited. Like, does anyone ever feel like that? Like, tell me in the comments. Because if you do wake up and feel like that, what is your secret? I need to know. Because I want to wake up feeling like really rejuvenated and like really excited for the day and like full of energy, not laying in bed going, I don't want to get up, which is what I do every single morning, and literally want to put the duvet back over my head and go back to sleep, which I could probably do in a second if I allowed myself. So I'm just doing the hill ride with my 2. Those over there, I'm not sure I can zoom in, are the first lambs that I've seen in 2024, and oh my goodness, they're adorable. These 2 are like, what the hell? Couple's heart's going like the clappers. See if I can zoom in over there. Don't know if I'll see them, but there's a little lamb. There is one to the right there. So cute. These 2, look at them. Zoom back out again. Right, come on guys, it's not that bad. Yeah, 2 little lammies up there. I know, it's just Sienna's like, it's too much, can't deal with it. She's the right pansy. The good thing is, Kit's been really good today. Ever since he had his teeth done, and I said he wasn't feeling very well the other week, he's still been a bit up and down, but today he's been spooking at everything and anything. Even simply me like undoing my coat or putting back my tabard and doing the Velcro, like even that's made him jump. So I'm thinking, oh, all right, frisky pants. I'm thinking it's all good signs that Kit's actually starting to feel a lot better. I've also been hand grazing, and I think a bit of grass has done the trick as well for him. But yeah, oh, and another first on our ride, I've seen some bluebells out. Bluebells in February, it's unheard of. Don't normally get them till April, or end of April nearly, I think. But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen, oi, Grumpy Chop, stop it. I don't think I've seen bluebells out in February before. So does this mean that spring is coming early if all the flowers are like, yeah, it's time to come out? I mean, it has been a very mild winter, so that's probably more like it. Good morning guys, it is a Saturday. I really should look in the mirror before I start vlogging. I do this every time I look at myself and think, you don't look great this morning, girl. Would help if you like brushed your hair properly and just didn't look so manky. I'm also looking really puffy faced because I think my house was a smidge too warm last night, and I woke, you know when you wake up and if your house is a bit too warm you feel a bit, I don't know, you don't feel fully conscious and you feel a bit puffy in the face. I feel like that this morning. Plus I had a few hours extra sleep, which was delightful, but then you sometimes feel tireder, which is a strange thing, but you just do. Anyway, in the turnout pen, we have shavings in the back of it because Chucky is sleeping out here at night. We decided to put a bit of a bed out there, and it's looked lovely, but sadly the sand is starting to absorb the shavings. But it's done a good job, and it's already been done probably 5 days, so it's not bad at all. I was a bit impulsive this morning. It is a bad habit of mine that every now and then, most of the time I can stop it, and I'm strong enough to go, no, you don't need to spend that money. But I'm quite impulsive when it comes to buying stuff. Very much like my father, nothing like my mother. My mother's a saver, my father's a spender. And yeah, so this morning I bought an air fryer. Anyone got one? They look really good. I'm hoping it'll be good. It was a really good buy on Amazon, and I tell you where I went wrong. I messaged my mum this morning. So I saw it last night and I was like, oh, I quite like that. But I thought I'll sleep on it. And then I messaged my mum last night and I was like, what do you think about the air fryer? And she was like, oh, I really want one too. And that was it. I was sold. As soon as she's like, I want one too, I was like, bye. So yes, should have spent the money on the camera body. Afterwards, I always get that feeling where I'm like, did you really need to spend that money? But I've done it now. I've done it. Anyway, that's quite exciting though. I'm quite excited for next week because I'm still through 2024. We're still early days, aren't we? We're only 2 months in. Trying to improve my habit with food and trying to wean myself off kind of ultra processed food. Not completely. I'm never one to be giving up chocolate or crisps and stuff like that, but just, it's a long-term goal of mine to try and improve what I'm eating and just try and eat a little bit healthier and a little bit fresher. But it's a long-term goal. Teeny weeny steps, but I'm hoping the air fryer might help with that. Anyway, I need to get on and map this out. I say Chocky is the most tidiest horse. He does the smallest little poos and does about 4 of them and that's it. And he's just tidy. Like Corporal comes out here, trashes it, drags all the shavings out into the main bit of the barn. Chocky, you would barely know he'd been in here. He's a dream.
So I had a really interesting in-hand session with Sienna today. Not necessarily that pretty, but I thought I'll show you guys anyway because it's work in progress. So on Instagram, there is a lady called Kelly de Gus, something like that. I butchered her surname. I know she's not English. I think she's Dutch. And she does the most amazing in-hand Piaffe videos. Like, horses look breathtaking. And I was just looking through some of her posts and she mentioned the importance of transitions within hand work and getting your horse to take more weight behind and not being too strong in the contact. All things that Sienna is. Sienna is quite strong in the contact when I do in hand work. She tends to bowl through me. She doesn't necessarily listen to me. And I find it really hard to do very slow trot steps with her. She just kind of wants to be very expressive and slightly runs through in hand work. So I thought today I'd start by trying to do some baby trot steps into downward transitions like walk or then into a halt. And her halts got a lot better throughout the session, but she did get very tight in the neck. She got quite mouthy and she got very strong in the contact. And I mean, I think I did more jiggling up and down than she did, but it's work in progress and I can see long term it's going to help her a lot because she's just going to have to listen to me a little bit more. And then I allowed her a little bit of freedom and she took it. She took it and ran with it and terrified me because she does things like that, running at the gate, which scares the living daylights out of me because I'm like, please don't injure yourself. Because, my arena's not that big. There's not really the room to be doing proper galloping in it. But hey, she was having a whale of a time. Loving life, enjoying the sunshine and the blue skies and just tearing up my arena really, which she does love to do. And then she did a very interesting move here. Not seen her do something like this before, but it was fancy. Check this out. Woo! Very impressive. And then she was really proud of herself, so she just thought she'd smile at everyone and show everyone her manky teeth, but she genuinely looked like she was smiling and it made me laugh. So we have started the hand grazing. I probably started 2 weeks too soon because just before we had all this rain this week, I started the hand grazing and I thought time to get the horses kind of tummies accustomed to grass again, try and reduce any chances of colic when they do go out properly. However, it was the day before we then had like 3 days of heavy rain, and now I'm thinking, yeah, they're not going to be going out on the grass for probably another 3 or 4 weeks, and we'd have to have some serious sunshine and warmth to dry the ground up because it's just deep and horrible. But the problem is once you start it with Sienna, she's not going to let you forget about it. And so I think that's why she's been a bit aggy this week, because I've had to miss a couple of days hand grazing because of work and just literally getting back in the pitch black. And she doesn't forget. She doesn't forget that I haven't hand grazed her. So also, I find it a bit boring, let's be honest, because you've got to stand in the field. And it's all right if you've got one and you do 20 minutes hand grazing. But when you've got 3, it gets a bit boring after a while. But anyway, Chock is a dream in every possible sense because he doesn't pull and he hand grazes so easily, whereas when I take Sienna out here later, no doubt she'll want to explode and threaten to canter off and all sorts. So I'm doing the best first. So yeah, but anyway, needs to be done, and I do think it's really important to get the grass back in their system and just slowly increase the quantity they're having before they go out full time, because otherwise it can upset their tummies quite a bit. So, and it makes them happy, and if they're happy, I'm happy, so all good really.